start in because I still, after a year of this, I still don't know how to do the gradual volume down of this thing. Hi everyone, welcome to Gotham City Tonight. So I'm Ryan Dole. I'm here with Alex.
You.
I guess I'll start off with the news here, Alex, and then we'll get into some holiday talk and what we were up to. But just to give everyone a heads up, there's going to be a slight restructuring of the show, but just a little bit. It's going to be more of what you've seen the last couple episodes. Alex is going to be joining the show full time with me on a weekly basis. Alice will be joining us a lot more. She'll be a fairly regular addition to the show as well, because she probably has some of the greatest hot takes I've ever heard on a podcast in a long time. And Lexi is due to have a baby like any day now. She's legit having the countdown, and she's pumping out all her pregnant cosplays that she possibly can before the baby comes out. So she needs to not, well, I thought it would actually be kind of funny if she went into labor on the show, but she doesn't want to do that.
Man.
Right? It could have been our first Gotham City Tonight baby. It would have been
we could get like a YouTube award for that, I think.
I would think so. What are they called? A Tubi?
A Tubi.
I don't know. I just made that up. But it could be. So she's going to be out, and then of course we want to give her time to recollect herself mentally and physically after having a baby. Unlike the American work system, I do like to give parental leave on the show. I'm absolutely cool with that. So just to give a heads up on that, you're going to see a lot more of just Alex and Alice, and I think that's totally awesome. So thank you, Alex. And funny enough, Alice can't even be here tonight because she's got deadlines to do for her comic, which I will plug later in the show as well. And I think this is, and I guess as well, like, with X-Men 97 coming out, we're going to have to talk about those episodes.
Yeah.
So as much as DC oriented the show's going to be, we got to talk about X-Men. We can't help it. It's got to be done, and we got to do it somewhere, and no better place than here for when that starts.
It'll be a Gotham / Westchester City Tonight.
Westchester Tonight.
Yeah.
We'll just do it. I should have a segment. You know how like Attack Peter has the news segment? I should do the thing with the X doors when they close or open.
Yes.
Just be like, this is the part where we talk about X-Men 97, right? Oh, Westchester. Look at this. Jake Stevens from Forlom to Zuckus is here. Let's take a quick say hello to the chat. Johnny Cock is here. Everyone go follow him on Instagram. Amazing artist. Matt Bush, he's the guy that keeps Toy Anxiety going. No doubt to that. Zach is here. Also check out his Instagram, his YouTube channel, his Twitch channel, where he does some of his artwork. Lucha Johnny is here. He does a show with Kayla Silva, so please go check out Geek the F Out as well. Whew. A lot of plugs here on the side. Stanley Eberhard is here. Cougar McGillicuddy. Derek Hoover. Crap. Now I did so many other plugs. Now I can't remember. He's got a show too, everyone. Check out Derek Hoover's show. Yes, that's it. Okay. Thanoscopter is here. So thank you for being here. Gady's Toys is here as well. Thank you so much. Nolan is here. And Flash 739. B-Man 93. Did he get a new co-host? I did get a new co-host. But like I said, Lexi's, yeah. Lexi's not gone or forgotten. She just needs to go have a baby. Jack Knight 73 is here. Brandon 3G. And I think that's everyone. There's like Dorlaxian, right? A lot of executive talk right from the get-go. So yeah, no, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks everyone for hanging out. This is awesome. Alex, how was your break? How was your holiday break?
Solid. So good. Yeah, just hung out with the family and tried to take it easy. Did some TNBA Batman sculpts for fun, and watched some Holiday Nights, and yeah, it was it was a nice little break.
Yes, for anyone
Read
who
some
hasn't,
comics.
there it is. Hang on. Yesterday's podcast. That's Derek Hoover, everybody. I knew it when I see it. All right. Because if anyone is not following Alex on Instagram, he goes under Fan Plastic 4. You did 2 gorgeous Holiday Nights renders that could be
Thanks.
statues. They were absolutely stunning. You had me popping pretty hard, where I was just like, you got to be kidding me. This is like, these are so nice. Especially the one with Bruce Wayne trying to carry all the gifts after the shopping spree.
I love that episode. I love that moment. So good.
It is. Now I expect whole renders of the fashion show montage.
Yeah, I almost did put Poison Ivy in the fur coat, but you know, cut for time.
I love that she wears, like, she's pro plants, but she'll like saving plants, but she'll wear fur, which is like, I think that's supposed to be part of the joke.
Yeah, she's a total carnivore, right?
Right. So it's like, I love it. I think it's those dude. Yeah, they're beautiful. So everyone, please go check out his, because they are on your main page as well, correct? They weren't just in your stories. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I believe I shared all of it. No, it was totally awesome. And yeah, that's, man, I did not much. I just relaxed. But did you get any reading done during the break?
I did. Yeah, I got well, for Christmas, got this bad boy. Very on brand. Superman for All Seasons, which I believe was cited by James Gunn as being a point of inspiration for the new Superman movie. And I feel like that could not be a better move, because I read this in college, but I hadn't revisited it since. You know, I know they like reprinted it at one point, but it was kind of hard to come by. And then I think this is a new printing, and yeah, it's such a great Superman comic. It's if you don't know, it's Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb, the Batman: The Long Halloween dream team reuniting to do Superman, and it's just gorgeous art, great writing. And just it's sort of like a all around the Superman mythos covering it all. Like, so, like, you get your great Smallville moments that are, directly referencing like Norman Rockwell's paintings.
That's awesome.
That like perfect. So it's a little dark, but perfect, like Americana. But then also like the cool Metropolis, futuristic city stuff. And yeah, it's great. Highly recommend if you haven't read it.
Yes, and I haven't read that one in a long time. I do own it, and I've got them with on my shelf next to Long Halloween and Dark Victory and When in Rome.
Yeah.
Like all of those. That team, and I've got it. I think they did Marvel stuff too. Spider-Man Blue, that from that team. Also, like these guys, just like you could have these one-off stories with these guys, these mini series, and you get the entire scope of the character's history, which I think is amazing.
And it's really cool too, because it's 4 chapters, each a season. It's sort of like the Long Halloween was holidays, based around holidays. This was taking the tactic of like, oh, this is a springtime out of Superman's life, a summer, a winter, or fall, winter. Not necessarily consecutive, like they're just sort of like it's not all one year. It's sort of over the course of him becoming Superman, and each chapter is narrated by a different character. So Kent narrates the first chapter, and then Lois Lane, and just the way that Jeff Loeb gets into the characters' heads. Like it feels like you are just. It feels like a very unique. Each character has a unique way of looking at the world, and you would never confuse, Lois Lane's view from Pa Kent's view, or Lex Luthor's view.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Jeff Loeb's he's one of those writers, kind of like Tom King, who we'll also talk about here later as well, that make me read that stuff and go, I could never be a writer. I'm not this smart. I can't do it. Zach,
I'll just read real quick, just one quick, like, this is such a great example. So the Lois Lane, the segment that's narrated by Lois Lane begins with, Perry once told me, Lois, a reporter lives by 3 rules: believe none of what you hear, half of what you see, and everything you write. That's just so like, what a great way to start the chapter. Like, yeah, she's a reporter. Have her talk about the golden rules of being a reporter.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I love Lois Lane anyways, and anyone that can write a good Lois Lane, it's just like gets me all amped up. Zach is saying also the underrated Wolverine and Gambit, as well as Daredevil Yellow. Wolverine and Gambit, a lot of people don't even know that one exists from that team.
Yeah, I've never read that one.
It's awesome. I have that one too. I think I even bought that one on like discount. Like, it was just in one of those, like, at the comic shop where it's just like, we got this. It's been sitting here forever. Someone just come and take it. And that was that I saw it and I was like, I didn't know this existed. And it was like, it's so good. It's really, really good. Thomas Crosby, first time tuning in live. Well, thank you for being here and hanging out. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to show you quickly off what I picked up for comics during break as well, because again, the comic shops got to support them, and they were having Boxing Day sales here in town. So I'll show you off my quick Marvel pickups. I picked up the Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Volume 26. So this is here. This is 93-94. So we're well into Mark Bagley's run, and this is right before the Clone Saga starts. So so I've been collecting the shit out of these epic collections. I started off with Round Robin, which is where it has Mark Bagley's first issue he did for Amazing Spider-Man ever, which is where him and Nova take on the Tri-Sentinel, which is, again, one of my like most favorite ridiculous Marvel designs.
Yeah.
And so I've been collecting all of them that I can, and this one's been hard to find because it kind of came out earlier, and I found it out here in Saskatoon, last copy. So I was stoked to find it and get it. And it is a really weird time sometimes to read this, because before the Clone Saga and before Miles, because there only is one Spider-Man. and we're so
how quaint.
How quaint, right? So we're always so used to now dozens of spider people. Like, yes, there were like multiple Spider Women at this time, but there was only one Spider-Man, and now we have multiples of them. We've got Ben Reilly and Kane and Miles, and Miguel is now showing up in 616 and all this stuff, right? So it's a literal Spider-Verse we have had since the Clone Saga started. That's what it feels like, anyways. This is before he had like bone spikes coming out of his wrist, part of the Avengers, all this stuff. So he was mostly hanging out with the New Warriors in the 90s, which is also absolutely wild to think about. He's kind of mentoring a whole team.
So I'm a little shaky on my Spider-Man history, but so is this like right after Eric Larson era?
Yeah, so this is after Larson. This is after McFarlane and after Larson.
Yeah.
So this would have been right when Image was starting up.
Cool.
I think, right? 93, 94. So Image would have just been starting up. And also from 91, 92, Epic Collection of Excalibur.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? Like, this is where shit gets really weird. We're talking like what are we dealing with here?
It was always weird. It was weird from the jump, Excalibur.
It's true, but we're dealing with like the the Captain Britain core.
Hey, it's Spider-Verse before Spider-Verse, right?
Right. This is the introduction to. I think I'm hoping pronouncing the name right. His name was Kylun.
Yeah.
He is probably hands down my favorite Toy Biz peg warmer of all time. I was such a fool as a teenager when this character came out and I found him. I bought him at full price because I was so excited to get more Excalibur
all
characters.
$5 of it.
All $5. And if Ryan Ting is watching this, that's the Rachel Summers we want in our Marvel Legends line. All right.
In that outfit.
In that outfit, meeting Kitty Pryde's parents. By the way, she's yes, she's getting introduced to Kitty's parents. In that outfit,
golden prize if you can name Kitty Pryde's parents. I'm blanking on the names.
Right?
I want to say her father's name is like Clyde.
Oh no, it's not her parents. It's holy crap! It's Megan's grandparents. That's
Jean Grey's parents.
So it would be like, yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's who it would be then.
Yeah.
This is where things get really scary and confusing in the X-Men universe. So Cable's her brother. We got to go through. We'll get through all of that at some point. But this is, to me, this is like some of Alan Davis's. Like Alan Davis is so good to begin with.
He's the best. Yeah.
Excalibur is hands down one of like his, like that's peak Alan Davis because he got to be weird. He was having fun.
Yeah. I mean, just his mastery of the human figure is phenomenal. And then being able to like take them to all those crazy worlds and costumes, and it's just the best. And I do hope that we get that they reference like Alan Davis's artwork somewhat with Rachel Summers if Marvel Legends does that figure.
Yeah. Oh, I want
that
specific
hair, that specific flat top. Yep.
Flat top,
it's got
flat top mullet.
Right. Yeah,
it's
with the braid. It's flat top into braid.
That's the one I want too. When I met Lee Williams for the first time, she had a different name for the haircut, which I personally cannot repeat. We'll just go from there. If you know Lee Williams, you'll probably know what she said. 5739 is asking, did you see the latest cartoon kayfabe with McFarlane? I haven't, but I know it's there. Really deep dive on when Jim Lee left Image and where his head was. Yeah,
it's good.
I can't wait to hear his side of that. I've definitely heard Rob Liefeld's side 100 times, it feels like. Johnny Cock is saying, I love the design of Cerise. I believe I'm pronouncing that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I never know how to say it.
From Excalibur, to this day, I know nothing about her outside of a couple trading cards. She's also,
and no one else does either. That includes Chris Claremont and Alan Davis.
Well, I think she's related to Deathbird, which is why they have similar costumes. And
she's got to be Shi'ar.
Yeah, there's definitely some Shi'ar heritage there. And again, Deathbird. Come on, Marvel Legends, let's get our shit together and make that.
It's true. I mean, there's not many left. There's not much that we haven't gotten, but the things that we haven't gotten, it's about time.
Hey, Alex, I got a question for you. You being an American, have you ever heard of the Canadian store Zellers?
Yes, but mainly because they have the best animated Batman commercials of all time.
Well, you and I next month are going to do a huge breakdown of it and the importance of Zellers. I picked this up. This came out in 1992. And this was a Zellers exclusive Batman comic.
Oh my God.
So inside, and we'll go like, there's coupons for Zellers candy. There's what is it? Hang on. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, here we go. Right. Zeddy. Whoop.
Love it.
Right. That was the Zellers Toyland mascot.
He looks like he'd be an Excalibur.
He could be an Excalibur. Right? Here's your coupon, $2 off Batman Returns.
God damn.
Right? So all of this is in there.
Logo.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they got advertisements for the toys. Get your coupons. Get yourself a Kenner. But we're gonna go through this. We're gonna do this almost cartoonist kayfabe style, and we're gonna break this
Love
down.
it.
Because this is Batman jumping around Canada with these kids.
Sick.
And the Joker is trying to stop kids from learning to read because it's important to also be educational.
Joker.
And at one point, they do go to Zellers because they have to.
Yeah.
So this comic was probably a lot of first comics for a lot of kids my age or younger, because you got them at Zellers, right? They were like a freebie. You buy something Batman and you got a free comic to go with it.
That promotes reading.
It promotes reading, and it promotes the store to go shop there.
Yeah. And does
So
the style is the
go
style
ahead.
similar to the cartoons?
The style. See, hang on. I want to see if I can find the artist here. The style feels more close to Jose Luis Garcia. It is Len Wein who wrote it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good. Some pretty
Kurt
good.
Swan. Kurt Swan was the artist.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Really?
So it's a very classic.
Yeah, super classic. See, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, so obviously, Batman the Animated Series. That's like the perfect Batman aesthetic. It just is. But when you see those Zellers commercials, that is like 80s Batman. That is perfect 80s Batman. That like midpoint between the Adam West and the sort of darker 90s Tim Burton stuff. Like somewhere that like neon orange and purple color, like the way they draw the classic Penguin and Joker and Batman and Robin. It's so perfect comic book brilliance.
It's so good. And those cartoons, like those little animated commercials, because they did quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's like Riddler and Joker, and
there's Catwoman, Penguin.
Yes.
I think that might be. Oh, maybe there's only 4. It always feels like a lot because when I was a kid, they played them all the time, and they stick so well in my head. And the way he's animated too is like borderline The Tick.
Yeah. Or like heavy metal, like the animation style is almost like out of like the heavy metal movie.
Fun fact, I actually think it might be the same animation studio as Heavy Metal that did them.
Damn, look at me.
Look at you. I found a whole thing on the history of it. So I want to do a thing where you and we break down the Zellers commercials, the comic, just this weird Canadian tie-in that like nobody really knew about until these commercials started popping up online.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm totally down.
It is totally sweet. So we're gonna have to I love it. I love these Zellers tie-ins. All right.
We gotta find a way to track down like good quality versions of the commercials because they're kind of hard to find.
I have a couple that I saved on a playlist, of course.
Nice.
On my YouTube. So like I'm just trying to. There's one, I think that's a Catwoman one that's been like I think we're just gonna have to suffer through it.
We gotta find someone with the archive. We gotta get we gotta go in detective mode on this one.
Maybe I should try to find, because the Bay, which is another big department store up here in Canada, they own Zellers.
Oh.
Or at least all their. So I think they may have acquired all that stuff. I wonder if there's got to be someone at the Bay who would be like, "Oh, we know where this is." There's got to be. There has to be.
Yeah.
Or who knows? You never know. Someone's probably like, I've never heard of this. We threw it away.
We'll be like Bruce Wayne tracking down episodes of The Gray Ghost.
Yeah. We're going to do it. We're going to uncover this mystery. Because that's what we do.
We're going to watch him with like a bowl of popcorn and an old projector. Like,
yeah. It'll be like, oh God, what is that called? Why am I blanking? It's You could tell I'm live on the show when I'm blanking. It's so obvious. Oh, Mystery Science Theater. That's what it'll be like. You'll see our heads in front of the screen. Johnny Cox saying, please make sure Alice is there too for her hot takes on Batman X Zellers. Oh, fun fact about Alice. So after we finished the last episode, the last episode we did together, she texted me and she's like, which X-Men am I supposed to watch? So she's watching X-Men cartoons.
Nice.
We're almost there. She's almost there.
The Spider-Man and Friends X-Men appearances.
Oh man, when I get back to Vancouver, little does she know she's also gonna have to sit through Pride of the X-Men.
Oh my God, I'll be there. I'll get in on that.
Like it has to happen. We're gonna have to go through that. It's I'm gonna see if I could. Why would I have this ready and prepared? I need to find the photo of James Gunn and his buddies here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Because I want to get into this. I want to overanalyze this picture, which I think, in all honesty, I think it might be an old photo. All right. This is a photo that James posted, infamous photo from DC, from the DC Studios office. So we don't know when this was taken. This could be old. This could be right when he signed on. We don't know. This might not have anything to do with anything leading up to Superman or anything. But outside of James Gunn and Tom King, I actually didn't really know who anyone was until I found out who they were. And then I was like, oh, it's that person. I know these names. I just didn't know the faces that go with them. So we are going to start. I'd like to thank Batman-News.com for doing all the research for me. God bless them. So thank you very much, Batman-News.com. So from left to right, we have Chantal Nongvo, the EVP of production at DC Films. She was also producer on Wonder Woman 84, Suicide Squad, and The Flash. And we've got Jeremy Slater, head writer and executive producer on Moon Knight, who wrote the screenplay for Fantastic Four. Yes, that Fantastic Four. He is rumored to be writing the Authority film. Christina Hodson, writer of Bumblebee, Birds of Prey, and the canceled Batgirl movie and The Flash. Drew Goddard, executive producer and showrunner of Daredevil when it was on Netflix. Also written movies such as Cloverfield, The Cabin in the Woods, and more. I guess I didn't really have to put and more. I mean, Cloverfield and Cabin in the Woods is pretty damn good. Same with Daredevil. So, I mean, we got trust in him. Crystal Henry, she was a writer on the Watchmen TV series, all brilliant if you haven't watched that, and will be a showrunner and writer on the Waller TV project. So that's exciting because the Watchmen's also very good. James Gunn, of course, Tom King, who's beside him there in his hat, comic writer of Woman of Tomorrow, which is the Supergirl comic that James Gunn was also heavily promoting, and he was working on a canceled New Gods film project, by the way, because he also wrote Miracle Man, which is another great miniseries. He's a current writer on Wonder Woman, which has been amazing so far, and I cannot wait to get the trade. And he's one of my favorite Batman writers of all time, period. Okay, I'll continue and quit coddling him. All right. Galen Vaisman is the VP of Creative Development and served as an executive producer on Birds of Prey, The Flash, and Blue Beetle. And Peter Safran at the very end. It's like, I didn't even recognize him. Co-CEO of DC Studios and served as a film producer on such films as Aquaman and Shazam, as well as their sequels. So there we go. Do you when you hear all the names and then what they have worked on, do you feel that this might be an older photo?
Maybe like a pre-Flash Blue Beetle photo.
Right? That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, it has me super curious of when this was taken. But he has mentioned Tom King numerous times. And obviously Peter Safran's a big part of this whole new cinematic universe that they're building. Right, Crystal Henry's clearly also part of all of this as well. So it has me kind of wondering if this is like something closer, like you were saying, like to Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, so was this recently tweeted by James Gunn?
Yeah, just like Monday, I think.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously this was their sort of DC relaunch or rebirth has been in the works for a while. So yeah, probably this was an earlier photo, but perhaps him tweeting it indicates that the projects everyone's involved with are starting to come to fruition, because like they're already in pre-production on the Superman movie, right? He's been like storyboarding, and he said that sets are being built, costumes are being finalized, they're getting ready to shoot. So possibly this is just a reminder of like, this is the brain trust, these are the projects, the authority, and this is sort of what you can expect to see coming down the pipeline.
It definitely has me curious, like, of just who's there, because Dorlaxian bring up a good point. Well, now I'm apprehensive. Some of those movies sucked.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I
no
think,
offense, I'm trying to like shit on anybody, but I mean, when you've got someone who's like, they were the, writer and executive producer on Moon Knight, which I actually think was really well done. And then the next thing you hear is like he did the screenplay for Fantastic Four, the Josh Trank one, but I don't think
it's that one.
It's that one. So it's but here, like, okay, I didn't see so before I can't say anything about that movie. I did not see it.
Yeah, I mean, and also I'd heard it was a very like troubled production, that the budget that they had originally prepped and pitched like a giant movie, that their budget got slashed, and basically they ended up having to just do the first act of the original planned movie. So who knows if the finish, and obviously there were reports of big problems with the director and the producer and the studio and all that. So who knows if what they finally ended up making even remotely resembles any of the screenplays that were written at any point. Like, movies of this nature tend to be kind of Frankensteined anyway, but one that is a particularly troubled production where like literally like halfway through the movie, like who was it? It's like Kate Mara suddenly is wearing this like obvious blonde wig, and it's just like, it's like, well, that's where the reshoots happened, like,
yeah.
So who knows?
It was weird. It was a weird thing to do to Josh Trank, was to like kind of like throw him into the deep end from being a PA to a director on a film. It just seems like such a, like, I mean, that's great that you want to like, that any studio would be like, hey, let's get some young directors and some fresh minds in here. But they also need to know how a movie works. And I worked with people at a different VFX studio that were also working on that Fantastic Four movie at the same time. And I don't think Jeremy Slater is the problem here. So
yeah.
I'm going to throw that out there. And he, it's just kind of, I don't know. It was a mess. And I mean, the director pretty much had a breakdown. And
yeah,
I do feel bad for him. And I kind of, the studio should have not, not say they shouldn't have gave him the director's chair, but he shouldn't have been direct. They should have teamed him up with another director who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's like, who knows? Like, who knows what the reality is, what really happened? But yeah, I mean, if it's just one of those things. And yeah, for the record, I haven't seen Blue Beetle yet, but I've heard only good things about it. And I saw the Flash, and I liked it okay. Like, I thought there's great elements in that movie. I mean, I liked it more than I thought I would. So, yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't say that even though it's been a rocky road recently for superhero movies, I wouldn't use that as a to pass judgment on the creative minds behind those projects.
Right.
I think that maybe we just all have this like trepidation when you see a picture like this, because we've been through it with Star Wars and Marvel and the previous iterations of DC. We've seen the think tank, we've seen the writers room, and all the hands involved, and you're like, oh, like the problem with these movies is that they feel like they're designed by committee, and that it's this everything is this like grand plan, grand scheme. We've got 12 movies that are all interconnected, when really, like, I feel like we're at this point where we're sort of just looking for like one good movie to hang our hat on, and then branch out from there, right? Like,
Right.
but it seems like we're getting that with Superman, and this is just what we got, other irons in the fire. If Superman turns out to be the movie people are looking for.
And people are excited about it. And another thing I want to say too, like to continue on that with people's work and stuff as well, their past work, it's, everyone has everyone has a Fantastic Four. If you've worked in the film industry, you've had a movie like that hasn't been well. And I understand why you'd put that in there, because it is going to get clicks. But I mean, you're only as good as your last work. And that's how it is when you work on anything, whether it's movies, books, comics, heck, even making toys, Alex. You're only as good as the last toy you release. Just so you know, that's what you're judged on.
Yeah, and it is like, it's many hands touch these things, and there's so many things that contribute to something being a success or something falling short of expectations. Like, rarely does it ever boil down to the fault of one person, or the work of the success of one person.
Right. Yep. Agreed. And it takes a village to make one movie, regardless. And it literally does take a village. But I'm really, I don't know. This still seeing pictures like this, like you said, like even with Star Wars, like Marvel, when you see all these massively creative people all sitting together in a room, it does get me excited, because it's, like they're doing what I wish I could do, which is just sit there and talk about geeky shit and get paid a lot of money for it, and just be like, yeah, like there should be a Lois Lane fashion doll line. Like, that would be the first thing I'd say at a movie meeting.
Yeah. Was there? I feel like there was one planned at one point in the 80s. Was there a Superpowers spin-off where it would be like Lois Lane fashion doll stuff?
Yeah, well, this is a whole other episode we're gonna have to do as well. And
we need Toy Otter on this one.
We're gonna need, exactly, yes, we need our boy Toy Otter. He knows everything. He is our guru when it comes to superpowers. He's the number one as far as I'm concerned. Nobody that if he's number one, whoever number two is still like miles away from that top spot. Like, Toy Otter, the man, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, he did put a thing like on that whole like wave 4 page, like his about talking about the history of superpowers, not lost wave. There is a whole thing he's got there at the bottom of sublines, and one of them is the Lois Lane line, and she was going to have like a whole adventure series of like, I guess, dolls, but the way they've got scaled, she might actually also be around the same scale, close to superpowers. Or at least she might be a doll in the superpowers like logo and everything.
Yeah.
Right. It's definitely one of those. Regardless, she almost got her own toy line.
Man,
And that would have been amazing.
Yeah, instead we got hardly any Lois Lane action figures, period.
I would have
probably count them on one hand.
If that line continued, we would have gotten like everybody else. Like it's crazy to think that we almost got like an Oa playset with Guardians in there. You know what I mean? Like it's so cool. It's super cool. I really wish McFarlane would just do some play sets. Just do it, Todd. Yeah. I know you're watching, Todd. Just do it. So that's all we need. No, this is it's super exciting. And again, to see comic book writers, whether you like Tom King or not, right? So whether you like him or not, depending on no matter how you feel about his comics, the fact that they have comic book writers in the room is also amazing. And I know that I think Jeff Loeb was on set. Now that I'm saying all this out loud, it's all kind of because Jeff Loeb, I think, was on set for Daredevil.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because he's involved in TV.
Yeah, he's involved in TV. But the first person I would have hired right off the bat would have been Paul Dini. Like,
yeah. Paul. Yeah, if only Paul Dini were in that room.
Then I wouldn't care who wrote what. At that point, it doesn't even matter. Here's the other thing too. Like Chantel, who's first in the shot, she is the producer on Wonder Woman 1984. Good movie? No, but you know what? She's probably a hell of a producer. Because at the end of the day, producers just trying to make sure things stay on budget and that things stay on time. Right? So she's clearly she's got to be a hell of a producer. So
and they got that movie out during a pandemic.
So. They did. Oh, that's man. It's what's crazy is that feels so long ago, that Christmas. Because that's when they dropped it.
Right. Yeah.
Right on HBO Max, and if you're up here in Canada, up on Crave, and man, that was a hard one to sit through. Holy moly! The boom starts off strong and just goes off the wall very, very quickly. Yeah, but I love it.
Although Pedro Pascal is so great all throughout, start to finish, he's bringing his A game.
He's great. It's kind of a bummer that's going to be like. I'm glad that's not Gal Gadot's last appearance as Wonder Woman. But it's a bummer that that's her last movie, like her last movie starring as like being the center, right? Like it's just what a bummer. A bummer. But anyways, that's it for that. I am curious because we haven't really talked about this. Out of all the stuff that James Gunn has, when he announced all this stuff almost a year ago, which is also crazy to think.
Yeah,
we're all at that one point where he did that one big announcement of like, "Hey, this is what I plan to do. Please come along for the ride." If you remember any of it, was there anything that stuck out to you that you like kind of most excited for?
Trying to think back. I mean, obviously, Batman and Robin. That sounds great. I think that there's, I think there's a lot to do with that, with the dynamic duo that has not been successfully, in my opinion, successfully captured on the big screen. Obviously, the Adam West and Burt Ward show is great. That's absolutely how you do Batman and Robin. But yeah, so I think that's cool, and especially if is it Damian, because that's a great dynamic, the father and son dynamic. The Creature Commandos cartoon sounds cool.
That one sounds. That's supposed to be the first one. That's got to be announced pretty soon for a release date.
And then the Authority, that'll be interesting. I don't know though. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be cool, but I feel like there's what the Authority brought to the superhero genre has now been so mined in TV shows and like all the sort of like Mark Miller stuff has been, I think, pretty well explored. But I'm excited to see them bring the characters are cool, and be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Especially Authority, because it's one of those, like, because that was an Image title at first, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's
Like the
or
Wildstorm, like, because they bought Wildstorm, and I'm pretty sure
yes.
Authority, Gen 13, those two really stick out to me for Wildstorm.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I want to bring up this one as well. These from Posable Productions. Thank you for being here and hanging out. Are you guys excited for the Caped Crusader? Sounds like season 1 is nearing completion.
Yeah.
So that would have been Kevin Conroy's, I believe, last thing I think everyone's saying the Suicide Squad video game is the last thing he did, but this also might be one of the last things he did, which I believe the conversation was continuing in here. Wasn't Paul Dini working on a new animated series for HBO? Checked out, which would have been that.
Yeah, but it's at Amazon Prime now. They picked it up.
Correct. So they picked it up, and Posable Production is saying I don't think Dini was involved, but Bruce Timm was overseeing it, and Ed Brubaker was the head writer on that. Which he's an amazing writer as well, folks. If you want to talk about someone who writes a good Lois Lane, Ed Brubaker is definitely on the top of my list of people I would throw in there.
And I think Matt Reeves and Damon Lindelof, or no, J.J. Abrams were involved at one point, but that may have been just an HBO Max thing.
Yeah, that might be. There's not really much, like, I just tried to Google here what for Batman Caped Crusader, and it is supposed to, the date is still for 2023, but now 2024, obviously, because that's what we're living in.
Ed Brubaker just gave an update on it, and it's set. My expectations are like definitely tempered with this, because like on the one hand it's like, how are you going to top Batman the Animated Series, especially like without Paul Dini. On the other hand, though, it's like, well, you do something different. So this is and Ed Brubaker sort of saying like this is going to be different, but it's also there's very little information, right? But it's going to be darker and more violent. It's sort of like the movie, the show that, where it's being pitched as the show that Bruce Timm would have done if he hadn't had to make hadn't been constrained by television executives who wanted a Saturday morning kids show, right? Like,
right.
But at the same time, it's like part of what makes Batman the Animated Series so great is the how it worked within those limitations, and the restraint that it had to show forced it to have more interesting creative storytelling. Like, I don't really want to see a dark adult violent Batman cartoon. Like, I mean, this is just me personally, this is just speaking for, like,
I agree. Did you see Batman and Harley Quinn?
Yes.
Yes.
So
that was a prime example of like they needed someone to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, but this is out for quite some time now. I'm all for Nightwing hooking up with villains, because that's what the Bat family does better than anybody else, is hook up with their villains. So, I'm okay with that kind of thing, but it was such a jarring experience watching that movie.
Yeah.
Because they were mixing in like models from, like, character sheet models for the first 3 seasons in with the adventures of Batman Adventures.
Yeah.
So nothing really matched up, but they were like having like weird cameos of like clowns that showed up. It's just, anyways, it's such a weird.
Is it canon?
Like,
Like
Dan Larson needs to make a video on this.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I know.
right.
Mulletless Nightwing. Is it canon?
Is it canon? I don't believe so.
Between
Right,
here and
plus,
Batman Beyond, he had to have gotten a haircut at some point.
right, and the what was it? She because this was supposed to be for Harley Quinn's 30th anniversary. I think that's what it was. That's what it came out for.
Mm.
So, the fact that they didn't even get Arlene Sorkin to do the voice,
Yeah,
was also very jarring. Like, it was just,
I mean, in theory,
so weird.
I was okay with the idea of we're gonna do like an irreverent, like just it's Harley Quinn, so like let's just make it like funny and outrageous, and like that's cool. It just wasn't like, it was like too try hard to me. It was like it was too much of like, oh, we got the kid gloves are off, like we get to do whatever these characters can say whatever we want them to say. It was like a little too much of like indulging in like an adult geared Batman, and a lot of the like Warner Brothers animated movies kind of do this. So that just makes me if the Caped Crusader is like feels more like that, that's less of what I'm looking for in a new Batman cartoon show.
Yeah, I am 100% with you on that one. And again too, with that I could just do a 10-hour sad comment about Batman and Harley Quinn. I think the other thing too, like at that time, it was like Teen Titans Go was probably the biggest cartoon on TV. So even the opening felt like you're watching Teen Titans Go. And there was a lot of like Teen Titans Go style humor, which was completely out of place for even Harley Quinn.
Yeah. It was like a neither here nor there, right? It felt like because Teen Titans Go works because they lean into it so hard. Like none of them have any redeeming qualities. Like it's like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia cast applied to the Teen Titans, where it's just like they are just these exaggerated, horrible versions of themselves. Like that, each character trait is like taken to its absolute, like, most selfish and amoral place, which is kind of fun. But so I feel like you either go that far, and you still have to be like really witty and really clever. And I don't know if Teen Titans Go is able to like sustain that, but at least I think initially it won me over a little bit more, like just by committing to its concept.
Yeah, I love Teen Titans Go. It is so just like, I don't know. It's just, again, it just felt like something like you just turn your brain. It's legit. Turn your brain off. Like, don't worry about it so much. Don't worry about the fact they're making fun about the size of Robin's hands. Just roll with it. But like,
I remember one where they become landlords at one point in like a money-making scheme.
There's an anniversary episode where they show how Teen Titan episodes get made, and they tape the reels to a pigeon and send it over the border to Canada. Like, that's correct. That is how animation is made.
Yeah.
Oh man, it just made me pop. Like, there was just so many like insider just jokes in these episodes. I love them. All right. Okay. We are getting close to that hour. So I think we're gonna like start winding it down here. That just want to say, thank you, Alex, for coming in and joining the show. This is like
happy to be here.
I am super stoked. Do you have any recommended reading or watching that people should be gearing up for this year?
I got two. One is this is comic. It's not DC or Marvel related, but
Oh
this
yeah,
is Shuma's Journey. This is a Miyazaki beautifully illustrated watercolor painted comic. And if you love Studio Ghibli movies or Miyazaki movies, the experience of reading this is like watching Nausicaa or Castle in the Sky. Like it's totally, it feels like watching one of his movies, and it's beautiful and deep, and and you can't beat the illustrations. And this is like, I believe this is like early 80s. He was doing, I think, the Nausicaa manga at the same time, and like gearing up to do the Nausicaa movie. So it's like, he was just like living and breathing art and art making. And so highly recommend that. And then more on brand, and also to get us hyped for possibly talking about some X-Men shows at some point, I got this bad boy. This is the John Byrne artist edition, and it's all his amazing.
Don't kill. Yeah, don't give yourself a concussion trying to hold that thing up.
There is a Cartoonist Kayfabe just posted a video of them going through this amazing. Oh, here's one for Ryan, for you in Canada. We got a little Wendigo action.
Hang on, full disclosure, that's one of my favorite issues.
Yeah, there's
it's Nightcrawler and Wolverine hanging out in Canada with Alpha Flight.
Yeah,
and they go up against the Wendigo. It is hands down one of my favorite. It's a two-parter. It's just 2 issues of Uncanny X-Men. They did a re-release of it. They did a reprint of it with Classic X-Men. The Classic X-Men cover of that issue with Wolverine and Nightcrawler is hands down one of my favorite covers of all time.
I mean, I love that issue too. I don't know if you can see this. Look at that Wolverine. I mean, it's some of the best. It's some of the best John Byrne drawings of Nightcrawler and Wolverine. Like, it's just, so you got to get this book. it just came out. And it's, I mean, the thing is, I
do regret not getting the works for Jim Lee.
Yeah, I have that. The thing is, there are so many iconic pages and moments in Jim Lee's run, but then also John Byrne's this X-Men run. This doesn't have, like, you're flipping through and the pages are gorgeous and amazing, but you're also thinking like, oh, they don't have this page, you don't have this page, like, just because literally every page is amazing. But they do have, look at how this is a properly hairy Wolverine.
Yes,
this is not Beast. This is a drawing of Wolverine, and that's that. I want to see, Marvel Legends.
That arm. Look at the amount of hair on that arm.
The Marvel Legends, they got the arm hair, but now they got to get the back hair. We need a Wolverine figure with some back hair sculpted on.
These should be flocked. Like, that would be, to me, the best way to go. Like, 100%. That is good recommended reading, because I didn't realize that. They got to do one of the New Mutants and the Art Adams run.
Oh yeah, or the Bill Sienkiewicz too.
Right?
Oh, there is an artist edition of that, I believe.
Oh,
so
we got.
They did it.
I'm going to do one quick plug for Alice for her comic. All Haven Academy. You can find it on webtoons.com. We've got 6 episodes out. This is perfect for reading on your phone or tablet because you scroll up and down, not left to right, to read it. And it is beautiful. It is cute. It is funny. It's great. So everyone, please go check it out. And on top of that, folks, it's free. You can just go on there, click on it, and read it. It's so good. So everyone, please also go support Alice. Go check out Keep making sure she can continue doing art because she's really, really, really good at it. So I just want to give her a quick plug with that. And cool. And I think with that, we'll end it on this spot, Alex. So thank you very much, everyone who tuned in. Thank you for everyone in the chat for watching. Thank you for everyone who's watching on the replay. And you know what? I'll see you on Tuesday on Toy Anxiety, and we'll both see you next week. Have a good night, everyone.